Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're looking at a situation that honestly feels like it belongs in a Hollywood thriller, but I was shocked to discover that it is unfolding in our reality right now. In July 2026, America's Cyber Defense Agency, CISA, issued this urgent, blaring warning regarding active cyber attacks on American critical infrastructure. We're talking about the invisible systems that literally keep our society functioning. And the details of this report are absolutely crucial for every single person to understand.
So I want you to picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning, stumble into your kitchen, turn on the tap, and nothing comes out. Just dry air. Then you pick up your phone and see the breaking news. Your entire city's water system was hacked overnight. Let me be perfectly clear here, this is not a movie plot. As we're going to see from the data, this is a terrifying reality happening right now, in real life, to our most vital systems.
Part 1. The threat inside.
Let's look at exactly what CISA Alert AA26-097A revealed. The technology at the dead center of this crisis is something called a programmable logic controller, or PLC. Now, you've probably never heard of a PLC, right? But these tiny industrial computers run almost everything in your physical life. They run 24/7, controlling everything from the plants that clean your drinking water to the substations delivering your electricity, even the traffic lights on your commute. And CISA explicitly warned that hackers affiliated with Iran are actively breaking into these specific devices. But here's the scariest detail from the source report. They've been inside these invisible systems for months, just watching, mapping out the infrastructure, and waiting. They aren't there to steal credit card data, they are positioning themselves to cause real, physical damage.
Part 2. How to hack water.
Okay, let's dive into this. You're probably wondering, how does a water plant actually get hacked in the first place? Well, the mechanics are shockingly simple. It's not always some highly sophisticated code like you see on TV. Think of it more like walking down a street at night, just checking every single doorknob until you find an unlocked front door. First, hackers scan the internet for exposed PLCs. Thousands of them are just sitting there, completely visible. Step 2, they get in. Because so many of these systems were designed decades ago, they use default credentials, literally the word admin and the word password. Yeah, no joke, we are protecting our water supply with the same password you probably used for your old MySpace account. And step 3 is taking control. Once they're inside, the hacker can do anything the machine can do. And as CISA noted, these actors are actively positioning themselves for future impact. Part 3. A global infrastructure vulnerability. It is super important to understand that this isn't just about one specific group targeting the US. This is a massive, systemic issue globally. To really grasp the scale, look at this incident from earlier in 2026 involving American Water, which is one of the largest utility companies in the country. A massive cyber attack hit them, affecting 14 million people. 14 million! It forced emergency shutdowns of their customer portals and billing systems. Now, this wasn't even the group mentioned in the CISA alert. It was a completely different group of attackers exploiting the exact same vulnerable infrastructure. The target surface here is absolutely massive. But let's look at what happens when they go past the billing systems and get straight into the physical controls. In 2021, a hacker remotely accessed the water treatment plant in Oldsmar, Florida. Just a quiet little town of about 15,000 people. Once they got inside the Oldsmar system, the hacker intentionally altered the chemical mixture. They actually increased the level of sodium hydroxide, which is a chemical you probably know better as drain cleaner, to 100 times the normal safe amount for drinking water. And this brilliantly and terrifyingly illustrates how fragile our safety net really is. Because the only thing that saved that town was a single alert operator who just happened to be watching his screen in real time and caught the chemical change as it was happening. If that operator had looked away for a mere 5 minutes, 15,000 people would have been poisoned. One operator, one screen, 5 minutes. That was literally the only line of defense. And this vulnerability extends straight to the modern battlefield. We've seen this clearly in Ukraine, where Russian hackers have repeatedly attacked the Ukrainian power grid, causing massive blackouts across entire regions right in the dead of winter. It's a chilling proof of concept, really. You no longer need physical tanks to cripple a country's infrastructure, when a laptop will do the exact same job. Digital infrastructure is the new frontline.
Part 4. Why fixing it is hard.
So you are likely asking yourself, why don't we just update the software and patch these vulnerable systems overnight? Well, let's contrast updating a consumer smartphone with updating a critical power grid. When your iPhone needs an update, it turns off for 10 minutes and you're totally fine. But you cannot simply take a 24/7 power grid, or a city's water plant, or a hospital's life support systems offline for maintenance without literally costing lives. It's just not that simple.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that there are four massive roadblocks to securing our infrastructure. First, those strict uptime requirements for 24/7 systems we just talked about. Second, the crippling upgrade costs. I mean, replacing hundreds of PLCs can cost tens of thousands of dollars, which rural utilities simply do not have. Third, there is a massive cybersecurity talent shortage. There are very few people out there who understand both advanced cybersecurity and physical industrial control systems. And finally, there's a huge awareness gap. The plant engineers running these facilities are trained to monitor pumps and valves, not firewalls and threat actors. Think of it like this. Putting these modern critical systems on the open internet without dedicated security is quite literally like putting a screen door on a bank vault.
Part 5. Defense and personal preparation.
Okay, let's pivot from the looming crisis to the actionable solutions being deployed by governments right now, and more importantly, what you can actually do. The good news is that agencies are finally waking up and forcing minimum security standards. CISA is now offering free vulnerability scanning to critical infrastructure operators. The 2026 White House cyber strategy has set strict new deadlines for water systems. NERC has mandated new security standards for the electric grid. And the EPA is now requiring non-optional cybersecurity risk assessments for water systems. So the government is finally pushing these utilities to lock their digital doors.
But listen, this isn't just a government problem. This is a you problem. Your local utilities are likely underfunded and completely unprotected. You need to demand cybersecurity accountability from them. Attend your local town halls, email your representatives, and directly ask your water and power companies if they have done a risk assessment. Making noise at the local level actually works.
And on a personal level, you really have to be prepared for when, not if, these systems fail. The source material strongly recommends building a practical 72-hour emergency kit. Have a few gallons of stored drinking water, non-perishable food, power banks to charge your phones, and emergency flashlights. You don't do this to live in paranoia, right? You do it because it's practical. It's exactly like wearing a seatbelt in a car. You don't plan to crash, but you buckle up anyway.
Part 6. The future of cyber warfare.
So, where is all of this heading? Let's take a look and see how this builds a realistic, albeit pretty bleak, timeline for the next 3 to 5 years. In year 1, we're going to see an AI arms race, with AI used for both automated ransomware attacks and real-time defense detection. By year 3, strict new government regulations will likely force smaller utilities that just can't afford compliance to merge. In 4 years, we're going to see a massive shift where civilian infrastructure officially supersedes traditional military bases as the primary target in global conflicts. And by year 5, experts predict the tragic inevitability of the first fatal infrastructure cyber attack. Remember, Oldsmar was a 5-minute near miss. We won't always be that lucky.
Which brings us to the end of this explainer. The hacking of our vital systems isn't some distant, theoretical threat. It is happening today to decades-old computers running the infrastructure we literally cannot live without. So the next time you turn on your tap or flip a light switch in your home, I want you to remember this chilling fact from our source material. Someone, somewhere, is trying to turn it off. The only question is, when they finally succeed, will you be ready? Thanks for joining me.